lot of legs to this story. And again, it's a story that eventually will be brushed under the rug. We know it's going to be brushed under the rug because we all know that betting scandal was brushed under the rug. 2 guys are in jail, sitting in jail for Shohei Ohtani. When Shohei Ohtani uses his superstardom to negotiate a deal worth about $250 or $240 million of luxury housing, and then not doing the right thing behind it. Now, everybody's saying that Shohei Ohtani might not have known that Bolelo was putting money into his pockets and obviously doing things schemefully to hurt these 2 plaintiffs that were involved with it. Now, I'm not going to cry about these 2 guys because they're probably multi-millionaires, billionaires. So I'm not going to cry for them or cry me a river for them that they lost $240 million or whatever, how much money they're going to lose out of this deal. But the fact that Ohtani's involved in a scheme like this again tells me that the MLB needs to dig a little deeper in Ohtani's behalf. And why I say Ohtani's behalf, because Ohtani seems to be the whipping board for us on this show. We love to whip Shohei Ohtani. And everybody likes to protect Shohei Ohtani offset of this show, except Jabba. Jabba has protected Shohei Ohtani since the beginning. Jabba's always stuck behind it. The sports betting situation with him, and even if it to be true, there's no proof. So Jabba, until proven guilty, Jabba doesn't think that Shohei Ohtani had anything to do with it. This story,
right.
You can't tell me that Shohei Ohtani didn't know about the $240 million that he invested into with this housing project.
I don't know if you haven't read the report because it went and this is via SI.com. And it was actually Nez is the one that used his name. And if you're as an agent, he can still be held liable, but he had nothing to do with it. It was his name was on the behalf because he was listed as the first holder.
Jabba.
So they've already reviewed. I'm just saying
right.
What I read.
All right.
There's nothing that's going to happen to the dude. You already know that.
No,
so.
There's nothing going to happen because he's the face of baseball. Baseball is protecting him. He's going to win the home run. He's going to have the most home runs this year. He's probably going to get another MVP this year in the National League because he's Shohei Ohtani, and baseball likes to protect this guy. It seems
and you're innocent until proven guilty.
Well, in America you are. In other countries, you're probably going to get thrown into jail, as we all know.
Hawaii's still
the United States, so he's going to get away with it. I don't know Nez. I don't know this guy specifically. I know, obviously, he's an agent at CAA, and this is a guy that is finding ways to make extra money on the side. All these agents, all these lawyers are trying to find ways to make extra money on the side. But when you hear Ohtani's name being brought in this conversation, if you're an Ohtani fan, you'd have to be worried that Ohtani's name is going to be brought in to a lot of these conversations for the very near future. Ohtani is making hundreds of millions of dollars. He is. And I know Fish is going to come into this and he's going to bring up that Shohei Ohtani's making $100 million a year in endorsements. The next 2 guys right under him are making $7 million a year in endorsements, and Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. So think about it this way. There's got to be something fishy going on if Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, 2 superstars, 2 big names in the major leagues, are only bringing in $7 million a year in endorsements, and this man is bringing in $100 million a year in endorsements. This guy, Ohtani, is involved with a scheme that now everybody is claiming, or somebody or people are claiming, well, he knew nothing about, but his name was stamped to it, so it's going to be brushed under the rug because of it. And if the story does grow legs, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of proof that Shohei Ohtani knew about this story and was trying to scheme a way to make more money off this deal. Because remember, these guys that are involved with this deal are multimillionaires. They probably are. If they're putting, whoever put $240 million in, if it's not Shohei Ohtani, they're putting their own money. They're multi-billionaires if they're throwing that kind of money into, a luxury housing project. So, again, I realize that baseball is not doing the right thing with this guy. They're letting this guy get away because of his name, because of who he is nationally, and because he's the face or one of the faces of professional baseball. But again, when is it going to be enough? When is baseball going to drop the hammer on this guy? When are they going to investigate this guy and take this seriously? Because they're not. This guy has been a part of 2 schemes, 2 of the biggest ones we've heard in the last 10 years of professional baseball. You remember the other one? The steroids. The steroids was the last big scheme. Now you're talking about sports betting. I just think that Major League Baseball should investigate this a little bit deeper. Take this more seriously. You cannot just lay this under the rug, or brush it under the rug, or throw it out and make it seem like it's nothing. $240 million isn't nothing to stink about. That's a lot of money. And if he's and if you can't do anything to him, maybe sit down with Shohei Ohtani and have a conversation with him and tell him, why are you putting yourself around these idiots? You're putting yourself around these idiots that are getting you in trouble, that are putting you in the tabloids, putting you in, stories where it's just going to get worse for you. And eventually, the stories are going to get worse, and it's eventually going to catch up to them. CAA is one of the high-profiled agencies in the world.
Yeah.
They're top 3. Are they in trouble? No. Because baseball is connected with them. Half of their players are probably working with CAA. So I think, obviously, these guys are going to be paid off, or something's going to be done where things are going to be brushed under the rug.
Baseball's not even their biggest department.
No,
right?
No. Football and basketball are. And I know a couple of basketball players.
Actors is how it started. That's why it's Creative Artists Agency.
No, I know.
There's the modeling and the acting is one of the biggest parts. I said no to them, by the way.
New York and LA are 2 very big places that they are very popular in, especially their agencies. And if you go and check it out, in LA, Hollywood is one of their agencies, and the other one is in Manhattan. Right square in the heart of Manhattan is CAA and their agency. How do I know this? Well, I've been on the phone with a couple of their agents over the last couple of years. So I know a little bit about CAA, and I know they're a big organization that has a lot of connections when it comes to professional athletes, not just baseball, but basketball and football. But again, going back to Ohtani, and my thoughts to Ohtani is, to me, what baseball needs to do is sit down with this kid. He is a kid. He's 31 years old. We all know he's making $100 million a year off his endorsements and his sponsorships. Sit down with the kid and say to him, you are the face of professional baseball worldwide. If you are going to be the face of our organization, you need to put yourself around people that are going to make you grow, not bring you down. And I'm not saying CAA and 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 is a guy that'll put you down, but obviously he was using his name to scheme something to make him more money. That, to me, tells me you need to stay away from this guy. You need to stay away from CAA. You need to stay away from guys that are going to use your name to benefit themselves and not benefit you. And right now, for where this story is going, his name's stamped all over this. So it tells me baseball needs to investigate it. Because if they're going to tell me right now that this man knew nothing about this, that's a lie. It's an absolute lie. And by the way, Carl was saying asking isn't Ohtani's current deal deferred, meaning he isn't making that much now, but is owed the ridiculous amount later. Yes, he's getting deferred money in the future. He's making $100 million a year in endorsements and sponsors. So by the time he gets his deferred money, he's already going to be a billionaire, if he's not already, with some of the moves and some of the endorsements that he's making money off of right now. So he's already the richest baseball player in professional baseball. There's nobody even close to him. Even Juan Soto making $60 million a year, and Juan Soto's getting the money up front. He's still making more money than Juan Soto is yearly without even getting his money from the Dodgers. So, yeah, when you're talking about a guy that's bringing in ridiculous money, obviously it would bother me if I was a professional baseball player like Aaron Judge or any of these guys, and you're hearing this story, and this guy, this is the second story in 2 years that he is a part of, and again, this story is going to be brushed under the rug that he has nothing to do with, or his name's just stamped to it, and nobody cares that Ohtani has been a part of these stories.
But